Welcome to Exploring the Focus 2. This video is designed for staff and faculty across the university who are interested in using the Focus 2 assessment to help students become career ready. During today's session, my hope is that you all will have a better understanding of how to use the platform, as well as how to interpret and apply the Focus 2 results to help students begin understanding and planning their academic and career action plan. During our Focus 2 presentations, we'll often ask students to describe on a scale of 1 to 5 how confident they feel about choosing a major right now. And the main takeaway from this question is to have students understand that Focus 2 is a great tool despite where you are on that scale. It's great for students who are already feeling confident but maybe need some reaffirmation as to what they're choosing. It's also great for students who are completely unsure, as it provides a lot of perspective and structure to help get them the answers that they need. Focus2 Career is an online career and education planning system that helps students assess their interests, skills, and values, and then uses those results to connect students to potential majors and career paths. Focus2 has many features embedded within it, including their self-assessment tools to assess their work skills, values, and personality, their major and career exploration websites, their career readiness resources, as well as their action planning for academic and career goals. Focus2 is an amazing tool, but there are some things to keep in mind as you're promoting it and using it with students. Focus2 is already customized with links to NC State majors and career resources. This is a great starting point based on their interest, but because it uses national academic codes, it doesn't display all of NC State's concentrations or specialized tracks. A great example of this is a student who completes all 4 assessments and gets engineering as a recommended career. Focus2 will show engineering as a major at NC State, but it's likely not going to recommend them to something more specific, such as electrical engineering or biomedical engineering. And so that might come as a disappointment for students who are already looking at those specializations, because they might think that that means that they're not a good fit for that. But in reality, the CIP code that's in Focus2 is just for engineering in general. So just always check the official NC State program pages to see the full range of options available. Focus2 will offer everyone a Holland code. We'll talk more about what that is and where it's from, but that code does not define you as a whole, and it can change over time. Especially students who come in and take it during their first year here, it's likely that their code might change a little bit by their junior year. Their code does not tell them what they will be successful in. Think about the difference between interest versus skills. Focus2 is getting at a little bit of both, but when it gives a suggestion, it might not tell you why it's giving you that suggestion. So have students critically think about whether or not something is an interest or a skill. If their code doesn't fit their major or career, that's also okay. Doesn't mean that they're wrong. The most important thing that you can do as someone who's helping administer the assessment is to help students understand why they are choosing something that doesn't match their code. And on that same note, after using Focus2, I encourage students to meet with a career counselor for deeper career exploration and attend different exploration activities such as career fairs, internships, informational interviews, or job shadowing to help them see the full range of possibilities. Lastly, the leisure interest assessment is no longer available through Focus2. So it's just something to keep in mind as you're recommending this to students. As mentioned previously, Focus2 is looking at students' interests, their skills, their values, and personality. And the hope is that their career will be at the intersection of all of these things. This hope is based on the Holland vocational theory, which stated that people are more satisfied and successful in their careers when their personality type matches their work environment. It also told us that both people and work environments can be described using 6 categories. These 6 interest areas have distinct qualities and attributes associated with them. And so the 6 categories that were given are realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. And so these 6 categories give us our Holland code. So these are the 3 letters that Focus2 gives us. This was originated from the Strong Interest Inventory, which has been used by over 22 million people and supported by 500 plus studies. The most important thing to note with the Holland code is that many careers and majors also have a code. And so what Focus2 is doing is taking students' codes that are derived by their assessment questions and then matching them across the Holland codes of different careers and majors. So we'll go to the platform itself and talk about where to find this Holland code. Okay. So if we go to the dashboard, you'll see the student's name, so welcome, student's name, some career planning foundations, the self-assessments, explore the possibilities, and then right at the bottom, it'll say their name and reports. If they hit view my summary report, they'll be able to click the self-assessments and hit continue. This will give them a portfolio of all their results, but it will also show them the work interest assessment results, which gives them their Holland code. You can see mine is SIE, social, investigative, and enterprising. And Focus2 will walk them through what that all means. So let's talk about some of these general occupational themes. Artistic. This often means that they value self-expression, creativity, imagination, and independence. Someone who receives social as a general occupational theme often values empathy, service to others, generosity, and kindness. Enterprising, they often value success, status, responsibility, and initiative. Conventional, they often value organization, stability, and calm environments. Realistic, values nature, common sense, and practicality. Investigative, values accuracy, inventiveness, intellectual achievement. So we'll just walk through some of the most common careers for each occupational theme. For artistic, we often see these folks in careers such as graphic designers, writers, musicians, and architects. Social, we'll often see them successful in roles such as teachers, counselors, nurses, or social workers. Enterprising, these are our managers, entrepreneurs, lawyers, and sales. Conventional, we'll see them in accountant, administrative assistant, and financial analyst roles. Realistic, these can be engineering, carpentry, pilot, and veterinarian roles. Investigative, scientist, data analyst, physician, and psychologist roles. So Focus2 will provide students with a list of occupations that are relevant to their Holland code, and then NC State majors that support that occupation. So once a student has taken the Focus2 assessments, they can go down to where it says self-assessments. We'll see the 4 here, and once they're all completed, they can hit combine. They'll click all 4 and hit apply. And then they'll see the matches that Focus2 is giving them. It's very likely that students will see a certain number of occupations in 3 out of 4 or even 2 out of 4 of the assessments they've completed. That's completely normal. I just happen to have occupations that are a successful match for all 4 of the assessments they've completed. But students who take this should not be discouraged if they see that not all their assessments are matching up to certain occupations. Once they are looking through the results, they can click on the occupation or even the major that they're interested in and read more about it. So they can click on the occupation, read a brief overview, and then see more specifics, such as the training, earnings, and job tasks of the occupation. Probably the most interesting is this work interest profile, where students can see how exactly they match up across people who are successful in the field. We already know that the recalling code was a match, but how so? For me, I can see that my SIE is a match here, but on average, people who are successful in this role have a bit higher numbers on average than I do. That's not necessarily something that should deter me from pursuing it. It's just something to keep in mind as I am navigating the different careers. It might also be something that I take with me as a student and say, okay, um, people in this role are more successful when they're a little bit more social and maybe a little bit more investigative. Maybe those are some skills or themes that I want to integrate into my daily life a little bit more to help prepare me to be successful in that role. After the work interest profile, you'll also see the work conditions. So they'll give you a bit of information on that and the educational requirements. Here's where I can see the majors and areas of study at NC State that will help prepare me for these roles. Students can click on the arrow and see that major in the university catalog and read more about it. So here is where I can see also the courses that they need to take in order to major in that. So now that we're back at the Focus2 platform, I want to walk you all through some of the more specifics that students often don't click on so you can help them get the most out of the platform. Right here under earnings, it'll give you a nice average of what people in that occupation will make. However, this little link here will take you to a site called Own It. And you can see where they're gathering this information from. But most importantly, students can put in a state and a zip code to see more specific information. Let's say a student wants to stay in North Carolina and they know they want to be in the Cary area. They'll see that information. So in Raleigh, Cary area, workers on average earn 117,000, and then they can see the other towns in the area to compare. So that's really helpful for students who are looking to gather more specific information about those averages. Okay, once a student is done looking at the salary information in the Own It tab, they can go back to Focus2 and hit the Back to Occupation list. This is where they'll be able to write any notes that they have about the occupation, whether they liked it, is it their top 3, they can rate it here, and some of their favorite traits about this occupation. This is extremely helpful as they continue to explore to help keep an inventory list of what they like, what they didn't like, to help them with their research purposes. And then they can hit save. Once they're done with that, they'll go back to their recommended list. They can also change the way that they look at these results. They can also look at majors for occupations, which will show them first different majors that they might be interested in, and then look at what common occupations are within those majors. So there's a few different ways to look at their combined assessment results. They can hit X to dashboard and continue on with their exploring the possibilities and researching. So Focus2 has a variety of tabs here that they can click on. So if a student wants to see specifically the occupations that fit different majors offered at NC State, they can click on this tab and find the whole list of majors and then click on them individually and read about some of the common career paths associated with it. There's another website that can also help students with this. It is called What Can I Do with This Major? And students can find that website through our Career Development Center page. That's a great way just to look at there are different possibilities for different majors. So there's some options for that here. And then lastly, they can see compare two occupations side by side, which is wonderful if they're comparing two different things. So most commonly, it might be two related jobs. So for me, I might click counseling psychologist versus an academic advisor, let's just say. They're not exactly the same, but they can be somewhat related. And so if I hit compare, I'll be able to see the differences in training, job tasks, as well as how I compare to each field, which might be helpful in making that pros and cons list. Once we exit out the dashboard, we'll also see some of the take action tabs here for students who want to plan out their education and courses and their professional development. So that's going to be all in terms of Focus2. Those are pretty much the basics in Focus2. But there's a lot of different resources that the Career Development Center also has for students who are looking to explore. For example, every student has access to EPAC. This is where they can find their career counselors, look at different internships and job opportunities, as well as make appointments for things like the clothing closet and photo booth. Students can also see the different career fairs happening if they're interested in meeting with employers and gaining some more information about the industries that they're interested in. Students also have access to our career guides via our website if they're looking to read anything career development. So if they're working on their resumes, they can find templates and suggestions in that booklet, which is available on our website. If students need to make appointments with career counselors, they can also do that through EPAC, but they should also know that we have a variety of drop-in hours available to them if they are not looking to make an appointment but just want to sit and talk with someone very quickly. These are 15 minutes, and they can find them virtually Mondays from 1 to 3 and Fridays from 1 to 3. Our in-person drop-in hours are happening at the Career Development Center on Wednesdays from 11 to 2, and then in the Academic Success Center on Tuesdays from 1 to 4. That's all from us today, but if you have any questions about the content covered in this video, please feel free to contact the Career Development Center. We look forward to meeting with you.